Vigilante. Would anything shock you with regard to the Epstein case? So there's a lawsuit by Deutsche Bank investors against the bank because they didn't do enough, basically self-policing to know that they were handling, there's so many layers of bullshit to this ruling class nonsense. But basically a judge assigned to an Epstein-related, I believe a civil suit. This happened today. Gunman attacks house of judge overseeing Epstein lawsuit. FBI identifies anti-feminist lawyer as primary subject in a shooting that killed Esther Salas' son. Now that's the judge. It's crazy. This is like, wow. So a guy dressed as a FedEx employee shows up at the judge's house, shoots her husband, who I guess is still alive and in critical condition, and kills her son. This is like Sopranos mob style shit. I mean, this is like the flagrancy of the Kennedy assassination. Like Oswald going, I'm a patsy. It gets crazier. The suspect? Have they questioned him? Oh, they found out he killed himself. He's already killed himself. Yeah. I'm not making any of this crap up. All these were sent to me this morning. Several by a fan of the show, Cat B. New York Judge Esther Salas took on the Epstein case days before the deadly shooting. Oh, I'm sure this has nothing to do with this at all, right? Totally. Wacky coincidence. A FedEx employee went nuts, or somebody dresses up like a FedEx guy, just randomly. 4 days before her son was gunned down and her husband was wounded, New Jersey federal judge Esther Salas was assigned to handle a class action lawsuit from Deutsche Bank investors who claim the company failed to monitor high-risk customers, including the late pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. So investors that have invested in Deutsche Bank stock has gone down apparently, and they've lost a bunch of money. So they're suing Deutsche Bank because they didn't monitor high-risk customers. Deutsche Bank is so shady. This is just me connecting the dots. I don't have hard evidence on this yet, but to me, it really seems like Deutsche Bank is where the ruling class, sex trafficking, pedophile, billionaire people, and people of Epstein, a lot of them park their money there. It gets crazier. Salas was assigned to handle the suit, which plaintiffs led by Ali Karimi filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of New Jersey on behalf of investors who bought securities from the bank between November 2017 and July 6th, 2019, when Epstein was arrested. This is a year ago he was arrested. Adding Epstein, who committed suicide in a Manhattan jail last year. Easy, corporate media. They just put that in there. So this, I always have to show you how they handle the Epstein, the way they talk about Epstein. Oh, he committed, they just forego, they don't even question it. They just say, oh yeah, he committed suicide in the prison last year, in jail last year. Wait a minute. With a paper t-shirt on Suicide Watch and there's no video footage. We're just not going to ask that question. You see how this works? So much of the Epstein, I always talk about this, the way the media just kind of couches, they frame the discussion about Epstein. This is not a small thing. Hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself. I mean, you've had senators and Congress people talking about this. Lindsey Graham, when they were asking the new New York president, like, you can't just throw this out there. Oh, yeah, remember when he killed himself? Not only that, the evidence of the coroner's report showing that it seemed more like he was choked rather than hung himself. Oh my Come on. Oh. Epstein, as it was, he did not commit suicide last year in a Manhattan jail cell as he awaited trial on sex offending charges. As a client in 2013 was a critical mistake and should never have happened. So she's assigned the case 4 days ago. Today, a shooter, or yesterday or something, either last night or this morning, today's Monday, July 20th, a shooter shows up at her house, kills her son, and wounds her husband. And the suspect in the shooting, have they been able to question him? Suspect found dead after federal judge's son shot and killed, husband injured at their New York home. Come on. Watch one cop show, and you know there's too many coincidences here. Like, there's no investigator in any police department anywhere in the world that would just go, oh, these are all really. So now we're supposed to believe that this guy just took his own life. Okay. And Seth Rich was a bungled robbery. Seth Rich was a bungled robbery. The suspect was a white man who wore a face covering and FedEx uniform, law enforcement sources told ABC News, and he used an ordinary car to make a getaway. About 5 p.m. Sunday, all right, so yesterday, July 19th, the gunman knocked at the door of the family's North Brunswick home. Mark and Daryl answered the door and was shot first before his son was also shot. The suspect was later found dead in an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound near Liberty, New York, multiple law enforcement sources told ABC. The deceased subject was an attorney who had a case before Judge Salas in 2015. Why can't we know his name? Who had a case before. So now, this is like such preposterous craziness. So now, in the same way, Jack Ruby, so what if he ran nightclubs run by the mob? He was just mad that Oswald killed JFK. We're honestly supposed to believe that, right? So now we're supposed to believe that an attorney who had a case in front of Judge Salas in 2015, so 5 years ago he had some case. Oh, we're going to find out he lost the case, and there's all these crazy handwriting saying, I'm going to make Judge Salas pay for this. Now, in the article, they go on the fact that she's a judge, and any judge, she has gotten death threats in the past. Any judge, especially judges that do criminal cases, that they get death threats. It's a part of that job, but not all the time. So, but I'm sorry, this is just too many. Now they're already planting the seeds of, lone wolf, crackpot, loose cannon, who, totally unrelated to this Epstein case, had some crazy vendetta. Lone wolf, lone gunman. Lee Harvey Oswald hated America. That's why he was able to get off 3 rounds from a moving. Okay. And Jack Ruby, we're all just supposed to believe Jack Ruby was just a mad American who was just furious that they killed the president. We're all just supposed to believe. It's preposterous. Oh, up until, a week or so ago when Ghislaine Maxwell, prior to her getting arrested, whatever it was, June or July 3rd, we went a year of the only 2 people being prosecuted in Epstein's death, or even charged, not even prosecuted, but charged, are the 2 guards. All these people in the black book, all these powerful people. I mean, are we honestly supposed to believe this? Are we honestly supposed to believe this? This is like mob style. I mean, this screams of like intelligence. But this is flagrant. This is like the ruling class doubling down, going, we can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. I've talked about this before. It's like Gary Webb, right, who uncovered that the CIA was bringing crack cocaine into black neighborhoods in America. He uncovered this, and the official police report is that he shot himself in the head twice. That was deliberate. That wasn't a cop filled the thing out wrong. That was deliberate. That's the CIA going, hey, everybody, keep your mouth shut. Hey, judge, don't get involved in this case. And they can spell and frame this guy and make it look like he's some crazy wingnut. They'll plant stuff on his computer. They'll put stuff, they'll have handwritten, just these. If that's the narrative, trust me. If the narrative, this is what it seems like they're trying to play. The narrative is that he's some attorney that had some vendetta against Judge Salas from years ago, didn't care about this Epstein Deutsche Bank case. So guess what? There's going to be some handwritten letters. There's going to be some, oh, he hated her. There's going to be that. That's just going to come to the surface. And we're all going to go, oh, I guess it was just a wacky coincidence. No, it's not. There's too many coincidences with this. Deutsche Bank executive 55 who signed off on controversial Donald Trump loans commits suicide in his Malibu home. This happened last November. Donald Trump, who also flight logs show he was on Epstein's plane. Victoria Roberts was trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago. Numerous women were trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago. He has numerous times and ties with Ghislaine Maxwell, with Prince Andrew. Bill Clinton was on the plane 26 times. So this is too many coincidences. Who else had money in Deutsche Bank? Just Trump? Epstein was a client there, so that means Epstein had other of his pedophile sex trafficking friends who were billionaires and powerful people. Trump is a billionaire. That means he had their money there. That means Deutsche Bank knew that they had their money there. This guy knew too much. He just committed suicide at age 55 in his Malibu home. FedEx guy, some attorney shows up at Judge Salas' house, shoots her husband and son, and then goes into his car and takes his own life. Okay. But let's go back to Deutsche Bank last November. Weird. This keeps popping up. Thomas Browers died November 19th in his home in Malibu, California. 55-year-old banker survived by his 3 children. His wife, Abby, died in 2017 from unknown causes. That's not weird at all. Bowers left Deutsche Bank in 2015, but had overseen Trump's private banker, Rosemary Vrablick. Deutsche gave Trump $2 billion over a period of several decades before he became president. The loans have come under congressional committee investigation. Any of this seem odd? Any of this seem odd to you? No? None of this connected? Oh, weird. Deutsche Bank is corrupt as shit. Deutsche Bank bought OneWest Bank, right? So OneWest Bank bought up a bunch of mortgages during the mortgage crisis in 2008. They used taxpayer dollars to do it. My home was one of them. My mortgage was with IndyMac. OneWest Bank, owned by Deutsche Bank, bought up my mortgage and a bunch of others. Thousands of them, if not more, hundreds of thousands, I'm not sure the exact number. For pennies on the dollar, they paid about 30 to 40% of the loan's value, right? So let's say you had a $500,000 mortgage. That's how much you owed the bank. You had fallen behind. Deutsche Bank paid $150,000 for it, or $200,000 for that $500,000 loan. So then they went, well, let's kick you out of your home. They did this to they did almost 6 million people. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 5.2 to 6 million. I keep hearing different numbers. I round up because fuck them. So Deutsche Bank, and what happened to me, I've told this story numerous times. I started to fall behind on payments. They said, let your payment get more than 30 days late. I was like paying the second and third week of the month, which still technically was late by their books, but it wasn't 30 days late. They told me, get yourself over 30 days late. We have stimulus money. They came and put me on what was called a forbearance plan, where they cut my mortgage payment in half for 3 months. And they're like, at the end of the 3 months, we're going to restructure your loan, get you a lower payment. We want to keep you in your home. That's what all this stimulus money is for. At the end of the 3 months, they said, oh, you don't qualify. And that happened to me 2 more times. Deutsche Bank did that. And a bunch of other mortgage companies did that with taxpayer money. $700 billion given to them by George Bush and another almost $1 trillion given to them by Barack Obama. Steve Mnuchin was president of OneWest Bank, owned by Deutsche Bank. Steve Mnuchin donated to Kamala Harris's Attorney General campaign when she was running to be Attorney General of the state of California. He donated to her campaign. When she was Attorney General, they had all this evidence to charge and prosecute Steve Mnuchin for banking fraud. They had a smoking gun, in essence, and she backed off. He then donated to her senatorial campaign. She won. When she was senator, she voted to approve Steve Mnuchin to be Secretary of Treasury. Trump's Secretary of Treasury. Still is. Isn't this weird? So he left Deutsche Bank in 2015, but had overseen Trump's private banker. So that means he left in 2015 and he knew he had all this information. His wife died from unknown causes. And then he died 2 years later. Weird. Ghislaine Maxwell's been arrested. All we've seen is this. We've seen no photos. This is a sketch of her in a Zoom hearing where she was denied bail. So she's got a week or 2 left before they paper t-shirt her. Weird. Isn't this weird? And it happens in New York and New Jersey. Here's just a random photo of Bill Clinton, who was on Epstein's plane 26 times. His wife was on 2 times. Him and Hillary visited Epstein's compound in New Mexico numerous occasions. Former New York Mayor Bloomberg, who has all these ties to Maxwell and Epstein, right? Trump, as I've said, he flew on Epstein's plane. There is a case where him and Epstein raped a teenage girl, a child. Giuliani. This happened in New York. Ghislaine Maxwell's in New York. See how this is all tied together? Trump has no ties to Epstein. There he is with Ghislaine Maxwell. There he is with Ghislaine Maxwell again. There he is with Epstein and his wife and Ghislaine. There's Ghislaine again. There's Epstein and Ghislaine. There's him and Ghislaine. There's Ghislaine and his wife again. There's Ghislaine Maxwell at Bill Clinton's daughter's wedding. These are the most powerful people in the world. If they wanted to get someone to dress up like a FedEx guy to go threaten a judge, they could. And if they could make it look like that guy then kills himself, they could. There's this infamous photo. The First Lady. Oh, look. There's Virginia Roberts with Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, weird. Here's a weird photo. Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Gates, this guy who's the head of the Gates, in charge of the Gates, basically the CFO, if I'm not mistaken, of the Gates Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. JP Morgan Chase, former Secretary of Treasury. Why am I bringing this up, though? What does this have to do with Deutsche Bank? Deutsche Bank joins Pearl Jam, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and the Rakes Foundation to battle homelessness. That happened in August of 2018. Pearl Jam did some live shows to raise money for homelessness. Okay, but they're backed. Deutsche Bank and the Bill and Melinda Gates have done business together. And also, if you go into the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation website, you see this. They gave a grant November of 2008 to develop a demonstration project that deepens the link between community revitalization and education reform in specific neighborhoods across New York City. I just showed you the 2 mayors. $2 million. Given to Deutsche Bank America's Foundation. Nothing shady here, guys. Nothing at all. I'm just some crackpot comedian in this apartment doing some YouTube show, making all this tinfoil hat crap connect. It's so weird. It's so weird, right? Why more people aren't in the streets? I'm glad all these Black Lives Matter, defund the police protests are happening. I'm really glad people are taking to that. That is systemic racism. It is police brutality. We need to talk about that. We need to stop it. We need to go in the street. I've been to these protests, and it's awesome what's happening and change is happening. I'm a little miffed, though, that there is a blatantly in our face pedophile billionaire sex trafficking ring. The most powerful people in the world, and that should be getting us all in the streets as well. This bank is corrupt. There's no way. There's no way. They just paid $150 million part of that lawsuit 4 days after this judge was assigned. And the corporate media, which is owned by all these billionaires, is not going to talk about it this way. And when they do talk about it, they say, oh, Epstein committed suicide in jail last year. Oh, we're just all this, oh, go to bed, go to sleep. That's what that's about. Well, Epstein killed himself in prison. I guess there's nothing more to investigate. Ghislaine Maxwell's going to get COVID soon. Oh, she had COVID and she died. Oh, wear your mask, everybody. And then they'll turn the discussion on, how do we find a vaccine? Oh, Bill Gates will show up. Just watch. They're doing it in real time. That's why you come to this show, because I'm not going to bullshit you, man, and I can connect these dots. Because I don't have a producer in my ear. This is just to hear myself and hear any clips that I put. That's all this is for. There's no producer in my ear going, don't say that, don't say that. We got to kill that story. Like ABC had an interview with Virginia Roberts to Free 3 years ago and killed it. They had everything and they killed it because they didn't want Buckingham Palace to prevent them from having access with, whatever rich kid royal wedding with whatever, I don't even know their names, Prince Silver Spoon, married rich girl, actress, whatever. Who gives a shit? Yeah. I'm completely funded by viewers. Deutsche Bank doesn't buy ad time with me. Boeing, Raytheon, Pepsi, they don't buy ad time with me. I'm funded by you. Thanks for supporting the show. There's a bunch of great ways to support the show. Patreon, Rockfin. Go to GrahamElwood.com. I have a PayPal button. I have a P.O. box. A million great ways to support the show. Thanks for watching. Boom. Hey, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.